Well, here we go. Legal marijuana sales in Massachusetts are now just a matter of days away. The state's approved 2 labs that can test pot products, which means that retail stores can now submit their marijuana, have it tested, and then start selling it.
So joining us now is the CEO of Sira Naturals, a marijuana business based here in Massachusetts. Michael Dundas, thank you so much for coming back in.
Thanks so much for having me back.
Always good to see you. Sira Naturals has medical marijuana dispensaries, a cultivation facility in Milford where you actually grow some of this stuff. And there are 2 retail shops right now, one in Leicester, one in Northampton, that could be open soon. How soon before someone is going to be able to walk into one of those 2 stores, which will be the first 2 to open, and buy marijuana legally?
That's a great question. We think it's going to be just a short matter of days, possibly a week. At the most, I'd say 2 weeks away.
Wow.
Now, of course, hanging over all of this issue is the federal government, what the federal government will do. The U.S. Attorney here in Massachusetts has threatened to prosecute people for selling marijuana, although, as you pointed out, he has sort of backed off that, said it won't really be a priority. Does that give all of you in the industry some pause?
I would say that we're looking at a couple of different things here. So we have a broad movement in the United States to legalize cannabis both for medicinal and for recreational purposes. Cannabis is technically in the Controlled Substances Act under Schedule 1, which means it's one of the most dangerous drugs known to man. We think that we're going to probably see some movement in the federal government at some point in the near future, and there's a couple of options they could take. First, they could do what's called deschedule, which would be take it out of the scheduling system altogether. The second thing they might do is reschedule, which would take it from Schedule 1 and put it into a Schedule 2 or 3.
Which, by the way, Schedule 2 is where cocaine and meth are.
Yes, that's correct. And there's a third avenue, a piece of legislation known as the States Act, which was introduced by Senator Warren from here in Massachusetts, Senator Cory Gardner from Colorado, which essentially says that if you operate in a state that has a recreational or medical marijuana regulatory process, that the Controlled Substances Act simply doesn't apply.
And you read our minds, because we wanted to ask you about the States Act, proposed again by Elizabeth Warren, the Massachusetts senator here. Do you support that idea of saying, as long as it's legal in the state, the federal government cannot come in and prosecute you for it?
We do support that. We think it's a good middle road. It allows for states that have not supported cannabis legalization to keep those regimes intact, but it allows for states that have decided to serve as laboratories of democracy to move forward without federal threat.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Schedule 1, heroin is also a Schedule 1 drug. Do you really support trying to advocate for that change? Do you think it's realistic? Do you see it happening in the near future?
I think there were a number of reasons why in the 1970s cannabis was listed in Schedule 1. I think we have, there was not a lot of research, not a lot of support for that decision, and so I think it's difficult to it's simply difficult to get the legislation to get it rescheduled. So we support, again, the States Act. We think it's an elegant solution to a complicated problem, and that's the way we feel.
Tell us about the next steps here. Right now, you have a cultivation license. You have to get one of, depending on, you can get a license to grow, you can get a license to process it, manufacture it, and then you can get a license to sell it retail. You have 2 medical marijuana dispensaries. You have 3, in fact. You're planning on taking 2 of them and making them recreational. What are the steps a business owner like you has to do between that, having a medical marijuana dispensary, and opening it as a retail for recreational marijuana?
The first step in the process is you've got to get local buy-in. So we operate in the communities of Cambridge and Somerville. So we reach out to the community. We let them know, hey, we have this medical marijuana dispensary here. We'd like to sell adult use, recreational cannabis as well. And we look to them for zoning. We look to them for licensure. We'll probably engage in an independent local licensing process at the local level. If we're fortunate enough to get approved at the local level, we would then apply to the Cannabis Control Commission at the state level for a retail license for those locations.
Let me just ask, as a parent, of course, as you say, it's adult use marijuana, but now here we are, and places are going to be open, things can be sold. What should parents say to their kids?
I think that it's important for all parents, and it's incumbent upon organizations like ours to educate folks as to what is appropriate and what is not appropriate for cannabis use. Obviously, 21 plus, that's what's appropriate in terms of an age limit as determined by the voters of Massachusetts and the legislature. And also, of course, it's important not to get behind the wheel. There are sort of common sense rules that we can teach folks who are our customers, parents can teach to their kids. And I think that you know, one of the ways that Sira Naturals as an organization likes to get out ahead of issues like that is to provide education broadly. We sponsored a public service announcement, for example, warning of underage use and the dangers of driving while intoxicated.
Voters in Massachusetts made marijuana legal in 2016. There's a new Gallup poll showing 2/3 of Americans now support legalization. You've been part of this process from the beginning. Have you seen voters' opinions change over time? Even you said you've been working on this for 5 years now.
You know, it's really interesting. I have. And in the early days, in 2013, 2014, when we were looking to get medical marijuana licensed, the main pushback we had from the local municipalities was, hey, not in my backyard, not in my town. I don't like medical marijuana. Today, we've seen a shift. Folks are trying to get adult use, recreational marijuana licenses. And the first thing opponents will say to adult use is, hey, we're fully supportive of medical. We're just not in favor of adult use. Sure. I think we sort of see the step-by-step progression, and I think it'll continue.
We've come along. Well, as it all gets underway, no matter where you stand on the issue, I know everyone wants it to go well and safely. So Mike Dundas from Sira Naturals, thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
It was good to see you. Thank you, Mike.